Yo, B, let's go.
You may have seen the clip and maybe heard word of mouth, yet another podcast. Man, what could it be about? Is it truth or opinion? A couple of contradictions. We're here to challenge tradition and twist your vision. So we set on a mission to bring you rebel wisdom.
Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Wisdom. I'm Julian here with my co-host B, and today we're gonna kind of talk about traditional housing methods. When you think of living space, I think what comes to mind, just single family homes, maybe multifamily, but your traditional housing types, whether that's a ranch style or what have you. But we're gonna kind of go against that and introduce what is the future of housing look like, or what's another competitor entering the housing space, right? So a topic that you and I stumbled on recently that's pretty cool is these prefabricated homes. I think one of the companies that lead in that space is Boxable, which they pretty much just manufacture transportable, foldable casitas, which non-official definition of casita, just like a smaller unit or something, a smaller unit built off of a main living quarters. So you have this company Boxable who is producing at a increasing rate these, very small homes. I think in the video I watched was like, 300 maybe to 400 square foot homes that are foldable, transportable, and you can get the land and just build them on there. But largely, I think their mission, and correct me if I'm wrong, B, is kind of just to, increases affordability and like where you can get them. So I think like a big part of their mission is to go against or prevent these housing market crashes. The most notable example is what we saw in 2008, which I think is pretty cool. So, we like to talk about new budding topics and furthermore, rebel the traditional ones. So I think this is kind of a cool one to talk about where a new competitor in maybe the housing market space.
Mhm.
And on that, I certainly haven't lived in any transportable, foldable home, but even with that, any like casitas, smaller units. But you have some experience with that. So if you could just speak on that real quick.
I think it's like a pretty understood
Mm-hmm. Bipartisan. Yeah,
bipartisan issue.
I got you.
Like we have a housing crisis in America, both
Yeah.
on the owner side and the renter side.
Mm-hmm.
Like housing is super expensive, and I want to go dive into numbers later. And even to rent is like
Yeah, it's kind
you
of crazy.
probably saw your rent almost double, triple in some places like across United States from pre 2020 to post 2020, which is definitely crazy. But yeah, like when I first so I got out the Navy in 2023, and then I was doing my job search, and then I landed a job in Phoenix, Arizona.
Crazy.
And then my wife's from Ohio, so I was in Ohio at the time. So we did a cross country, not a trip, but like a drive from Ohio to Arizona to move there. And then we were buying a house. And when I first, so I bought the house, I was under contract. And while I was waiting to close on the house, like we were looking at just random Airbnbs to live for like a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like, it was like a longer term stay, so, like, we were looking for something rather cheap, and then we also had a couple cats, so, like, that kinda limited us on, like, where we can stay, but, yeah, we found this place, and then we go we booked the place, we go and check it out, right? Or not check it out, but we go in to check in,
Mm-hmm.
and so we pull up. So imagine there's a ranch style single story house, that's,
Mm-hmm.
like, the main house off the road, right? Just like a typical house. And they were like, "Okay, like, this is the address, but this is definitely not the Airbnb that we booked."
Mm.
And then the check-in instruction was like, "Hey, like, go to the back." And so we open the gate, and then we go into the back, and it's like a decent I'm not talking about a Midwest, like, those huge backyards, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, but,
yeah. No,
like, it's a decent sized backyard for Phoenix. And you look, and it's like I don't wanna say well, maybe it might it's probably prefab, but imagine a very nice, like a shipping container. You seen those like
yeah,
super
yep.
big shipping
That
containers?
yeah.
But like it was like nice. Like
Yeah.
you go in and then it had a modern,
Mhm.
like a modern sink, modern bathroom, like a nice bath, and it was like a casita style, just a very, we're probably talking like, I don't know, less than 300 square foot
Mhm.
place. And then that's where we lived for like a month because that was the cheapest thing that
Yeah.
we could afford. And then I know that guy was making so much money because we checked into one, right? And in that single backyard, there was four of them. So
Oh.
I was living in one, and like we shared like the backyard with like three other people.
Oh.
Man, I mean, I don't even know. I probably not permitted, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's
that
whatever, right?
yeah,
Like it
it
was a
sounds like
win-win
overcrowded.
for the owner and
Right.
me, myself, because we got somewhere cheap to live. But yeah, they had the main house rented out, and then we had the four individual places. And at one point, for like couple days, I remember seeing all like four units
Occupied.
occupied. Yeah, so
Ooh, that's
I
bank.
know that guy was raking in
I'm
some
seeing straight
cash,
dollar
dude.
signs. Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually, we bought another home in the Phoenix area, and then we started to actually build a casita as well.
Heck yeah.
And then this isn't a it wasn't a prefab. Like we actually laid the
Mhm.
cement down, and it's like an actual casita. Um, but yeah, so like I know the numbers from building. I done couple now of the casita builds, so I know the numbers from like a building standpoint, or at least roughly. And then just comparing it to these prefab homes, that's very interesting. Very, I want to. I mean, not revolutionary, but like that's where the
Mhm.
trend is going in the
Yeah.
coming coming future.
Yeah. I think that's cool because you just spoke on both sides, both like you said, definitely a coming trend, but speaking from the space of like, okay, who does this benefit?
Mhm.
Is this largely like would buyers be bullish on this? Would sellers? Would I mean it attacks the building issue, which I guess there's like some somewhat of a building crisis as well within the housing
Mhm.
crisis. So with these being smaller and cheaper to build, I mean you got to get the materials and stuff, but way cheaper and takes way less time. Like it kind of attacks that problem. So it's kind of cool hearing that because even in that little story, or you sharing that you've fabricated a couple now, like it kind of attacks this problem from multiple different angles, which I do think is cool. And anytime you have a space where something's introduced that's new, I think it's cool. Which just speaks to the overall, honestly, dude, like the overall time we're in. Just look at the technology like AI. I mean, now you got foldable, transportable homes, just handheld technology. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like the millennial generation, like I guess Gen Z and now Alpha, like the turnover of just new things that we're seeing
Mhm.
is just insane. No matter what market or space you're in, which I think we talked about on a just another podcast, maybe the transportation, where it's like at some point you always see a new development in whatever space. But yeah, I just think this is um, kind of cool from a I don't want to say proof of concept. I think it's been proven, but
Mhm.
just a new thought. And then for Boxable specifically, right? That's one company in this space. Again, them trying to prevent this housing market crash. Like I think that's like a pretty noble mission. So like I mean again I'm behind it.
Mhm.
It sounds cool. And then there's pros and cons of getting a prefabricated house, whether it's in researching this like a modular or panel style, I guess differentiating a manufactured or module is whether it's built on like metal beams or on the ground, all that stuff. So there's different like subsets within the like prefabricated homes, but again, as a general concept, I think there's a lot of value that this could add.
What you said, okay. I thought of a question based
Yeah,
on what you said.
yeah.
You said housing crash. Do you think building these not I mean the placing these prefabricated homes, let's say all across the country, do you
Hmm.
think how what do you think would happen to like housing prices?
I think housing prices would drop because I think, let's say you flood the market with these homes are, I mean, they're smaller, right? But you have more of them and
Mhm.
for a lesser price. So I think the demand, you're just gonna have way more supply, and I mean they're going to be cheaper. So let's say you have some of the people that are in the traditional home market now gravitate towards this um uh prefabricated market. Like there's going to be less people in the traditional home market, so you might see a drop in those prices. So more people can have more homes at a more
Yeah.
affordable rate.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree. I think more people if this casita model became like a
Mm-hmm.
single family model where
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's not in the back of someone's backyard anymore. It's just like you
Just a
actually
standalone.
it's your home. Yeah, I think that would be like a transition and like a next step forward for this space. But I mean, like we do have like mobile homes,
Right.
right? So
Right.
like this would like I feel like it would be considered like a mobile home, and then therefore probably priced differently than an
Yeah.
actual built home on like man, I don't even know how to like that you can't move,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
right? But yeah, I mean, at least from an affordability like a point of view on at least on the rental side, dude, I feel like that's gonna make it so that there's so many people that can have a nicer, cheaper place to live.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
let's say, we're gonna go and the Boxable has some cost associated with it,
Mhm.
but then, if you can have this like 300 square foot, even like 400, whatever you plop down, and then let's say it just costs you 100K, right?
Mhm.
Like at least from a housing perspective, that's not it's very
Yeah.
cheap to
Yeah.
live in. And then so if the if it's cheaper for the person to put it on the market as a rental, I don't see why not where people will be willing to take less for it because the original price was cheaper there, which in turn kind of brings down the rental
The rent.
rates.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that would be kind
That's
of
why it's like a
cool.
win-win. Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, you said people have an opportunity for like nicer homes. I want you to elaborate on when you say nicer. What do you mean? Because these aren't
I
bigger.
wanna
So
I wanna play the video
okay. Okay.
of
Okay.
the Boxable
That might be a
Casita
good
tour,
transition. Yeah.
and then but just think about it, like this is I think this reality, like looking at other like traditional rentals on the market,
Hmm.
y- I would say around half or more rentals are not that nice. It's livable, it's normal, but it's not nice.
Okay. That's why I said define nice because what? Yeah. What?
Like the
Like
like you don't
amenity.
walk in like have you walked into like a pre or a post flipped home?
Hmm.
Like it just smells clean, just have the new house smell with like just modern like 2020 finishes
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
open
Yeah. Yeah.
concept with the
That's
white and black
yeah.
contrast. Like that to me is nice.
That's funny because me too, but like that's super subjective. But like I
No,
agree that I love how
right.
you laid it out because I'm so like the open. Like every time I see, yeah, just like largely white or like the matte black accents, I'm just like, oh my god, it's so clean, it's crisp. It doesn't have to be, the always love the stainless steel appliances, the open,
Yeah,
like dude,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like you go on Zillow right now and be like, hey, go on Zillow and look for places to rent. Like, so many places just like have like light or like a dark lighting
hmm
that just looks depressing. That's just like all carpet. Like, it's very 1980s style,
that's
and
hilarious.
you can tell that it hasn't been upgraded.
Hmm.
Not to say that those places cannot be nice,
Yeah, yeah,
but
right,
compared to the modern finishes, just like a different I think a lot of they know what we're talking about.
yeah, fair enough.
Alright, can I play this?
Let's get it.
Alright,
I
let's
haven't even
set
seen this
this
video yet. Well, I might know which one he's gonna play, but so I'm watching real time, so I'm excited to see what this is.
okay, I'm not gonna play the audio because I don't want it to,
Sorry,
um
I'd probably talk over it anyways.
yeah. So here's the alright.
Look at all that.
Yeah, so okay. So Sorry, I'm gonna be pausing in and
Yeah,
out here,
yeah,
but here,
yeah,
look.
yeah. Let's get
Oh
into it.
man, I couldn't get a good.
Dude, that's almost too much white for God. It looks so
Yeah.
clean though.
Okay, look at this.
Right.
It's in someone's backyard, and it's like a very compact
Extremely.
square space,
Yep.
right? And then
Then when
you
you get
look inside.
inside,
Oh, here's a better angle.
literally on
Like,
some bricks.
yeah. And then, but you look inside. Look at this, dude. It looks nice, doesn't it? Not look nice?
It does. It looks clean, like it's just
Yeah.
fresh.
Like,
Yeah, I
I
mean they
could
literally went.
definitely see myself staying in like a budget Airbnb, and I'll be very happy with this.
Mm. And this is interesting too, because I've always been like a square footage guy. Like no matter how I shouldn't say no matter how nice, but for me, if it I needed to be extremely nice to offset the lack of space. I think I'm
Mhm.
slowly coming around to get in smaller spaces because like where I'm at now, right? It's just me. And I remember moving in here. I'm in like I think it's like 1,100 square feet now,
Mhm.
and it's super comfortable. But I was looking at like some 700, 800, 900 square feet, and I was like, that's on low. That's too small. But now I reflect, and I'm like, really, it would really be enough.
Yeah, I mean, think
Yeah.
about it from when we did the minimalism,
Yes.
but like this is like a minimalistic
Yes,
look, right?
yes.
Like
Like I
I
said,
would,
still urban, still clean.
yeah, I guess it might be like a cultural difference. Like coming from Japan, like I'm just not used to
Mhm.
having that much space in a home, to be honest. So this is
Mm.
perfect for me.
That's interesting, dude. I think you're onto something.
I mean, because like, look, you even have wash. Oh, here it looks like a
Right.
washer, but then I don't see a dryer at least in this. But like, you can
So some of the
easily.
modern ones can be are washers and dryers. Like it washes
Okay,
and then the heat kicks in and it dries it.
okay.
So it's probably both.
Okay, that no, you have a good point because I was thinking like you can even put a washer here or
Yeah, you
not a
could.
washer, a dryer here,
Yeah.
and you would have. I mean, if this fits, like a dryer is gonna fit too.
Right.
And then I think the guy is kind of like breaking down like the casita is in like four quadrants,
Mm, yep.
and um, like he's in the like the top left quadrant here,
Right.
and then where next to it they have like I think that's the bathroom right next to it. Here, he looks like he's about to go in. Like, look at that, like,
Oh,
semi
dang.
see through door. Like, that's
Yeah,
nice,
it is.
right? Look at the bathroom, the white and black that you're talking
Bro,
about.
I'm telling you, it just gives a crisp, there's a crispness to it.
Like the sink. Oh, I
Is that
love
the
the. I like
bathroom
the.
or is that the kitchen?
No,
That's the
that's the
bathroom.
bathroom.
Hey, that is a nice bathroom.
Yeah, this like you seen you watch Squid Games, right?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Remember like the black guy with the black mask, like the
That's like the
main
main dude, the leader
guy.
dude. Yeah,
Like the black is like the texture of his mask. It's like, a lot of
dude,
like
that's a wild
corners,
comparison. Ooh, I see where you going. Oh my god.
Yeah, and look at the shower. Like
Yeah.
in this video, he was saying that with his shoes on, he's about 6'2".
Mm-hmm. He's
So I
got
mean
plenty of headroom.
that shower is definitely like a decent size. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably, I mean, it's probably bigger than the one that I have right now, to be honest. And
Oh,
then I
that's
mean,
like
yeah,
kitchen.
right
Yeah.
there. That looks
Mm.
like this is
Yeah. From this
the
angle, it doesn't even look like that small. To be honest.
yeah. This like the right side of the frame is like the living room with a TV that
Yep.
he was talking about, and then you have a full size fridge and a like pretty much it's not a big kitchen, but it is a full size kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
he
I
got the
mean,
box.
with this, you can probably fit like a 70-inch TV if you really
Mm-hmm. For
wanted
sure.
to,
For sure.
right?
That's what I was gonna ask. Closet space. You truly do have to be like a pretty true minimalist though to me because I just got stuff, dude. Like I've traveled.
Yeah.
Like I got 3 bookshelves. You ain't getting one bookshelf in there.
Yeah, but think about it like the city people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like city people, this will be a perfect solution for the like
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the crazy unaffordable places, right? Like LA.
Oh yes, yes.
Like people have it may not be big, but people have,
Mhm.
backyards where they can plop couple
Mhm.
of these things.
So I got a question for you. Do
Yeah.
you think, Boxable and the other competitors in the space have a niche target audience? Because I'm looking at this, right? Although I think it does tackle a couple problems in the housing market, uh I don't really see too many like couples living in here. Certainly not families if you have, kids. And then um I had another thought. Families
I could see
and
couples.
yeah, maybe couples.
Yeah, I could see couples. I like
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Families and like long term, like this strikes me as a very like short term, midterm type of
yes,
situation.
I
I
agree with you.
Yeah. So although again I'm pro the prefab homes, but I think it's I mean with a lot of things I think it excludes a certain part of the consumers, which
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
is
no,
like
I could
families
I
long
could
term.
definitely
Yeah.
buy that with yeah, I don't see a family of 4 and a dog
No.
living
Yeah.
here.
Pet. Yeah.
Definitely
Yes.
not. But, I mean, they have a market for that. They have the single family homes that's like, a little bit more well established, like they
Hmm.
saved up a down payment, they have a good paying job types. Oh, that's like the audience for them, right?
Hmm.
Um, but like here, like if I was a bachelor, I mean, me, if I'm married now, but I would live here with you know, I would live here honestly.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people would not like to live
Yes.
here, which is fine.
Which
That's
is
a different.
which I
Yeah.
think gets at a whole nother issue because and that goes into various other topics we talked about. Like, let's say you did live here, or even like pseudo long term. Let's say you lived in one of these for 2 years while you just stacked your paper.
Hmm.
And then you can make a sacrifice living in something like this that's still nice and somewhat comfortable. So you can save to buy, something bigger, more
Yeah.
spacious, instead of like automatically going to something a little bit better, but now you're saving for longer and you can't play with your money as much. So
I
just
think.
another reason this is, could be a good option.
Yeah. And depending on where this thing, the actual casita is at. Okay, real quick, I want to define the casita thing real little
Yeah.
bit more. I know you gave it this.
Yeah, I give a quick I
Yeah,
would
but casitas is like a term that we use, I guess, like Arizona, California type areas, maybe. But the official name is called ADU. It's what is it?
additional dwelling unit
Accessory dwelling unit.
or accessory or
Yeah,
dwelling unit.
accessory dwelling unit, and they call it different things around different parts of the country. Like I heard mother-in-law suites,
Yep.
in-law suites. I think in Hawaii, the casitas are a big thing, and they call them ohanas. I think.
Mm,
Uh, the granny suites.
yeah.
Just it's basically it could be attached to the pre-existing home or a detached place that just smaller and like Julian just said. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about with a casita. But yeah, like imagine like have you heard of pad split?
I haven't.
So pad split it was like a big craze in the real estate investment space because basically imagine you take like a 4 bedroom 2 bathroom house, right?
Hmm.
But in that house you have a lot
Oh.
of like non there is it's livable space, but like you wouldn't find someone like living in the living room, right?
Hmm.
So basically, you put up like walls and where it makes sense, and you a lot of times you convert the 4 bedroom 2 bath to like a eight
Two
bath,
one.
8 bed 3 bath, or something crazy like that. Those
Oh.
are not uncommon. Like literally they'll go from like 4 2s to like 8 3s,
Oh,
and
dang.
then the model pass split is they'll place tenants that's on a like the traditional leases on a like a 13 months, 11 months, 12 months, like 1 year period, or like around there.
Yep.
And then you have the less common, but definitely still like relevant month to month leases. At least there are 30 days, right?
Yeah.
These pass split things it's on a weekly basis. You just pay by the week.
Wow.
And at the end of the month, like it ends up being like anywhere from like 800 to $1,000. So it's like you're paying like $200 a week or something like that.
Wow. Are you
An
saying
investor
pad split like PAD?
yes, correct.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so, like, investor makes crazy amounts of money, but then, like, you attract a certain type of people, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're gonna attract a very low income person. That's not like I'm not even like, I'm sure there will be people that's like who you said, like, they're trying to stack paper, trying to, like, make sure they're trying to set themselves up, but this is more like, they really don't have a place to live, like, they need
Yeah,
somewhere to live to,
yeah.
get their life together type of people, and, like, if you're someone I'm trying to differentiate the audience from, like, this Boxable thing from, like, a path split
I see
model,
where you're
right?
going. Yep, yep.
But, like, if you're someone that doesn't have money because maybe you just recently graduated from college or you just
Mhm.
did your master's program or, like, you moved out to a new city trying to settle yourself, like, you don't I wouldn't wanna live in a path split, like, those are usually in, like,
Y
rougher parts of
yeah.
town, like, the parking is a big issue because you're like, the audience of the people that
Mhm.
path split attracts is, like, you take you take, public transportation, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's just
Yeah.
different type of crowd, right? Um, but then Boxable, on the other hand, it's like, you're not really sharing a space
Yeah.
besides the fact that you might be on someone's
That's
home in the backyard, but
right,
that's,
right.
like, more common, right? You
Yeah,
would agree, like, that's more common than,
yeah.
like, stuffing 8 people
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
1,600 square foot home.
It's, like, closer to the traditional style living, almost just, like, on a microscopic living scale. Um,
Right.
yeah. Which is ironic because the pad split could be an actual traditional home, just modified and, like, split up, whereas again, these modular or prefab homes are new, smaller casitas, whatever, but it's the living style is closer to traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just smaller, and then, like, I'm literally thinking, like, if you're someone that just graduated college, got their career just started from the first job that they got, and then obviously, like, when you first start a career, like, you're not gonna be making a lot of money
yeah.
compared to incomes that families are used to making and stuff like that.
Sure.
But for that, like, this will be perfect.
Mhm.
Like, you can still live in nicer parts of town, and then the rents will be, you know, uh, definitely lower compared to, like, buying a house or renting a
Right, right,
house or
right.
these crazy, stupid, expensive apartments.
No, 100%. Uh, yeah, I think that's spot on. And getting into not some of the technical stuff, but just the more specific like pros and cons or different ways to look at
Mhm.
this prefab market. And you're on the topic of like houses and people at the career starting point or the entry level of their careers. With housing prices going up, you're always gonna have people that are at entry level, like no matter where you're at, like that, like young people aren't just gonna that gap isn't just gonna disappear. So
Right.
you're that market's always gonna exist. Um, and then we talked about in oh dude, what episode was it where we were talking the minimum wage, or whatever, how that's essentially been stagnant since I can't remember. Was it like 2015 or whatever?
Mhm.
The federal minimum wage has been what was it, 715 or 725?
725, I think.
Yeah, whatever it was, right? So like with all those things coming into play at the same time, like housing's not getting any easier to afford. So with all those economic effects, like this is a very viable option. And from what I can tell, it's like growing. It's still very. I don't know. Like when did these like modular homes? When did this like come about or get popularized? I guess I'm sure some company somewhere has been doing it since probably like late '90s, but probably nobody ever heard about it, or you know what I mean, ever ever moved.
Yeah.
So much so that we were talking about this. They're saying like there's a well for Boxable, at least that company, there's like a pretty extensive wait list, which I thought was interesting because they were saying another one of the advantages of these houses is the turnover is pretty quick. Um,
To make it, you're saying.
to produce it, yes, the turnover is pretty quick, and even still, there's an extensive wait list, so that shows that there's a demand for it,
Yeah, absolutely.
and which only means I'm sure there's going to be more budding competitors, but I see this definitely I don't know like what states or what areas it's prevalent in now, like metropolitan areas, but I definitely see it branching out into different,
Yeah.
I don't know, countrysides or whatever. Because
I
I don't
I
think it's gonna
think
grow.
it's gonna start with where the housing crisis is like really prevalent. Think of the big
Mm-hmm.
metro areas, think of
Mm-hmm.
California, think of New York.
Oh, Cal, yeah.
Um, because I don't see this popping up like too much in let's like the Midwest, for example, right? Like because when you buy this is a fixed price.
Mm-hmm.
So the more expensive the housing market is, the more they're gonna benefit from having something like this.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Oklahoma and you get a nice house, brand new house for 300K, it may not make sense to put this in the
Mm,
backyard and rent it out for like 500 bucks a
yeah.
month. Whereas you plop the same thing in LA, you might be able to rent this for like $2,000 a month,
Heck yeah.
right? But then at
Great point.
least on I may not be answering your question directly, but you were talking about like how, when did this become popular?
Mm-hmm.
Type in, I don't know. I'm sure Boxable isn't the first company, but like you
Yeah.
said, Boxable is the leading company as of right now. And then on their website, they kind of talk about the timeline of how Boxable just came about.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like the founders is like a father and son duo
Oh,
that
that's
they
cool.
started it. They had the like idea in 2017, and then they start making progress and like um you know they build their first actual prototype in 2019, and
Mm,
I'm sure like 2020 was a big push
yeah.
for them
Oh.
because like housing just went up like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. It says 2021 they got a federal contract
Oh,
of
nice.
$9 million to build
That's dope.
156 casitas, and they're going to be used at a military base. And
Hey,
I think that's cool because like
that is very cool.
I don't. You stayed at like military barracks before, right?
Well, not barracks, but I stayed on base. I mean, I've
Okay,
been in the like, yeah, I haven't
I
been in 'em.
stayed in military barracks before
Oh no, no, sir.
because I went to a high school. I went to high school on
You
a
did.
base
Yeah.
in overseas,
Yeah.
and when you go play, like when you go, you usually like if you're in a city, you go play the other like cities or surrounding
Mm-hmm.
cities high school teams, right? But our like surrounding high schools were like in different countries. So like we went
That's
to
crazy.
I was in Japan. We went to high school in Japan that on American base, and then we'll go play baseball at like a Korean base.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take a flight over to Korea to go play like a baseball tournament,
Mm.
and they'll stick us. We're high school kids, right? Who cares? They stuck
Yeah.
they stuck s- stuck us in like army barracks rooms, and it is awful, dude. That place, like you have like 8 people in like one bathroom and like
Oh God.
a space, and you literally they give you a mattress. That's it,
High school
right?
boys, I know that thing
Yeah.
smelled like, oh.
But then like putting these kind of things on military bases, like I don't know, it's not the nicest, like you said. It's not doesn't have the biggest room, but like for someone to live in, like that's offered free housing, like this is perfect,
Mhm,
right? Very modern finishes, like we talked
mhm.
about. And then same year with the federal contract, like basically Boxable is started making these prefab homes in like actual factories. And then
Yeah.
the business is still continuing. They're building other factories. Like looks like there's 3 factories in construction right now.
Okay, so yeah, they're definitely expanding for sure. Which just even still, the whole concept of manufacturing a home in one location and literally shipping it somewhere is still just like kind of mind blowing to me. But I mean that's cool, and I guess that goes into a cost too. If you're not renting, if you're like buying one of these, one of the videos I was watching, it says the proximity you are to the manufacturer location. It was like $3 to $5 per mile to transport it away. So like, they were comparing all the costs for traditional homes to the cost of these prefab homes, which, these you might have to buy the prefab, which could be, I don't quote me in a range. I'll just say 50K to 100K, just for sake of talking. Which is, notably cheaper for the housing market. But then if you don't own the land, you have to still rent out the plot of land. So like that could be additional cost unless you like own the land. And then the transport costs from the manufacturer to wherever it's going. Again,
Mhm,
if
mhm.
you're not just coming in as a renter, that could be a factored cost. So there is some nuanced costs that may not apply to buying normally, but even still, your overall cost are going to be way lower, even if you factor in all that stuff. And I think they were
Yeah.
saying like the rent structure or the mortgage structure, I think, is the same, right? I think
Oh, they let you put
it's
it on a 30-year note?
finance. I don't know if I saw 30 or like 15 years, whatever. I saw somewhere where they were like the mortgage structure is largely the same as um if you buy it.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so, I pulled up the prices for these things,
Yeah.
and then
Is this for
yeah, I
Boxable
mean, dude,
specifically?
yeah,
Yeah.
you're actually pretty close. It says the box so there's different types of
Different.
models, right?
Right, right.
But then the one that we looked at, which is, 375 square foot, that's the one that I'm gonna be going over these numbers for.
Hmm.
'Cause, like, they actually have, like, a 20K version of this, which is, like, 150 square foot. It's, like, much smaller, but,
Dude,
like, much cheaper.
that's
Now
insane.
you're thinking, like, a New York City apartment type
Dude, that's
stuff, but
insane.
so back to the on the video that we watched, it says the boxable range is from 55K
Hmm.
to, 99.5, so hun
Oh,
55 to 100K.
I was right there. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, you're very close, and then but it says, these estimates are all inclusive, meaning that the cost of the home,
Hmm.
labor, shipping, and the site work
Mm,
is also included.
that's huge.
So, um, so the actual module costs, I guess with the labor included is about 49K. But then, like you said, they charge $2 per mile for
Hmm.
shipping,
Hmm.
from Las Vegas, which is, I guess,
From
I'm
Vegas.
guessing
Yep.
that's where the factory's at. All right, I want to talk about price
Yeah.
because it, I mean, that is a big difference between 55 to 100K.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it's 55K, it's actually not that bad. But like you said, there are more costs associated to setting this up than what's
Hmm.
listed on the website because you talked about one of them. You got to like, you're probably not renting the land for this.
Right.
You're
Probably not.
probably just buy, you got to own the
Unless you just
land.
already own the land. Yeah.
Right. And then you got to have land that's set up to, I guess, to be livable, like plumbing set
Stable.
up, like
Oh yeah.
electricity set up. Um, so that's a whole different cost, right? That's gonna vary a lot by state to counties to just locations in general. And then on top of that, you got to pull permit. You got to
Hmm.
have a general contractor to like what they do is they pretty much set this thing up.
Yeah.
But then from there, someone has to go set up the plumbing, someone has to go set up the electricity,
Right.
and there's other costs associated with that, right? And
Yes.
from experience, like that's gonna be another like, 30 to 50K that you're on adding on top of it. So with that being said, if we're talking about let's 55 to 100, let's say down the middle, let's say 75.
Hmm.
75 plus
Plus,
you're talking maybe let's say 40K on average, right?
you're looking at a
So
cheap
that's a
single family now.
yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's 115, right? So recently I did a ground up build of these one of these casitas from literally a backyard to poured cement to everything that would it's not a prefab home, but like actual casita that's
Yeah.
attached to the ground. And all in all, I think the square footage was about 350. So very comparable to what this is. And all in all cost with labor, material, the GC like project management fee, and all those
Mhm.
stuff. It was a little bit less than 80K. So from a standpoint of these prefab homes being like mass produced in a factory, like I would personally want to see these prices come down a little bit to
Mm,
fully make sense. That's my personal opinion.
yeah,
And I think, I mean, like I said, you're gonna get a more bang for your buck, like the more expensive your housing market is. And then, I
right.
think Phoenix is like a little bit above average, maybe around the average of national home prices. So
Hmm. Yeah,
um take it with a grain of salt. But yeah.
right. I was so you said some interesting things, and I think some stuff that might drive that labor or that manufacturing price that they can't arbitrarily control is like the price of the materials to make it. Like if lumber is up right now for whatever reason, and they're making the frame from beams or whatever, like that could drive the price.
Mhm.
Just etc. Like things like that. But one thing I was reading was that because they're pre-manufactured, they tend to be more um like well built than a house that's built
Oh,
normally,
interesting.
whatever, because they're just, I mean, one, they're smaller, so it's just the attention to detail, and it's like a rinse and repeat process in the factory, so they're able to kind of like hone in on some little things, and that some of these things can be like energy efficient. Dude, I learned so many weird terms. There was one they were talking about like thermal bridging in one of the videos I watched, which is like in a normal home there's like laps or gaps in whatever the roofing or whatever, where like there's little creases where heat is not controlled properly just due to the structure. But these are
Mhm.
so small that you don't have so many overlapping. It's like one piece of material or whatever. So there's like, I guess that's a thermal bridge where like heat can either enter or escape. And there's like just like less of that because that's so small. So like that's an efficiency just naturally built into just random little things like that that are positives that I don't know if that affects the price or not. But
Okay.
it's like some things I get, but to your point, if you're on the East Coast and it's $2 to $3 a mile, and it's only in Vegas right now.
Yeah.
That's 100K easy already, and then on top of all the costs that you named, yeah, you're at 150. Like I said, that's a single family price at that point,
Yeah.
um, depending
Yeah, I
on the
mean,
local market. But yeah,
I want them to succeed
right. So yeah,
because when you have a successful company, like your your margin's gonna just naturally come down if you have good leadership and management in place.
Mhm.
So with that being said, as long as they don't have too much external pressure from investors to keep making profit, and just stick to their mission
They're
to, decrease this like housing affordability crisis, then it would work. I really do see a positive future for this.
yeah. Let's go
And
Boxable. We're pulling for you.
yeah, so Boxable is just one of the companies doing this, right? And then I was just looking up some like competitors 'cause I'm just naturally curious when I was looking this stuff up. And then first one, like it's not definitely not a competitor, but when I was originally trying to build my casita, because I was looking at options like this, I'm like, hey, what should I do? Should I build it ground up? Should I just put a
Mm,
prefab home here? Like I was just thinking about it. And then you can literally go on Amazon and type
no
in,
way.
not yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my
Just
god, I gotta
type
do
in
this right
Amazon,
now.
type in like prefab
No way.
prefabricated homes. And I have one pulled up right now. It's like uh 40 feet house with luxury design with three
Yo,
bedroom, one living room, fully equipped bathroom, blah 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 blah, all this stuff.
what?
And it's
I'm
$19,700.
looking at one that's
You looking at it, right?
13,500 prefabricated
Yeah.
modular home kit. What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So same thing, but like
Insane,
I don't
bro.
know the quality of this because
Right.
like I mean I don't eh,
Bro, the
I don't
wind
know.
blows too hard. It's a wrap.
Yeah, right, 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 right. But then at least from like a cost
Yo.
perspective, like these are the costs that, on top of this, okay, let's add that 40K they were talking about. Now you're talking
Mhm.
about 60K to build
Yeah.
I don't know the dimension here. Um but yeah, let's say like a 300 square foot. Now we're talking, like now we're actually
Mhm.
being able to bring these costs down.
It's
And then
insane.
yeah, yeah, what do you think? At least the one that I'm looking at is really, really nice.
They're all, yeah, whether it's like a cabin style or just super ones like all glass, like very modern. I think that's when you were talking about uh 19,700. this is just imagine going to somebody's house and be like, "Oh man, this is different. Like, where'd you get this from? Oh, I got it on
Um,
Amazon." Like, bro,
Amazon,
your
yeah.
whole your whole house,
Yeah, it's
wood
literally
floor, marble
yeah.
looking walls, like interesting. Yeah, definitely a new concept in the housing space. But great point. Like these are truly like cheap. One's like a converted steel barn, $599. Oh, I think this is the actual barn. Never mind. I was gonna say a house for $600 is crazy. No, dude, that's interesting.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna share my screen again without I looked at the other man, like, competitor I don't like using the word competitor here because, like, I don't think they're going after the same target audience. These are all
Okay.
everything I'm about to show you is still prefab homes, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's in that same space,
Mm-hmm.
but it goes after a different types of people,
Yeah.
so they're not true competitors,
Okay.
but,
That's fair.
um, here, take a look at this because I haven't even showed you this one here.
Woo.
The company's called Method Homes,
I love their logo. Their branding's on point.
and basically, like oh, I don't know, they haven't said this, but, like, from looking at their, like, gallery and stuff, these are just much more higher end finishes
Mm-hmm.
of, like, dude, like, would you like, looking at just the
Yeah.
picture of this, like, would you live in this?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Like, this this looks super good. Um, like, look at this, like, with, like, rocks, like, on a mountain, lake view, like, I mean, that you gotta buy the land, I'm sure that's already expensive, but,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
these are actual homes that are already set up.
Mm.
I guarantee, like, I haven't this is like, a lesser known company, and so I wasn't able to find the actual price
Mm-hmm.
for how much it would cost to
Also, that was my question. Like,
yeah, because you can get the pre-designed models, or you can do a custom build,
yeah.
but then these are all fabricated and shipped and pretty much installed on site, which is, that's the prefab portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's one this is Method Homes, okay?
Dang. It's funny. Would you say this is part of like within this space of housing, this is a more of a luxury market? 'Cause I feel like within everything, you always get the luxury brands. Like you got EV has been,
Oh.
coming out, but then you got the luxury EV. I don't. What do you think? This is getting into the more luxury space,
Yeah.
which is definitely a different audience.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a good analogy. Okay, here I have the next one pulled up. This thing is freaking fascinating, dude. Alright,
100% affordable.
so look at these ones.
Multifamily. Ooh.
This is prefab apartments.
Yeah. What?
It it's insane. I don't know the actual I mean, like, these look like, you know I don't know if it's a concept design. Oh, it might be concept
It's
because
got
it's,
it.
looks like a
Yeah. It
drawing when
looks.
I clicked on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so this is plant, like the
Hmm.
green flower plant, the plant, prefab, that's the company. And yeah, they build
Wow.
their mission is to like build affordable housing, and then the best way to do it is in through single family homes or like these individual
Mm.
boxes that couple,
Hmm.
a person or two lives in. But best way to tackle the affordable housing crisis is to build apartments.
Yes.
And I mean, just
Wow. I did
yeah,
not even know this existed.
yeah, I didn't either. Like this is, I mean, I
They all look
these
super modern.
are concepts. Uh, I don't think these are real.
Yeah. But I mean, still
Uh,
looks like very doable.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know how they exactly do it, but like, I don't know. Have you seen like the pic? Have you seen
These
a
pictures.
video of like I think it's in China. They put up an apartment in like 24 hours or something like that.
Dude, yeah, I think I saw it a while ago, but yes, just some
Yeah, that I mean
insanely.
that's insane
Yeah,
too.
that's
Um, oh, but then, at least, this is plant prefab. The
plant
one that we
prefab
looked at previously was Method Homes.
method homes.
I did come across like a timing of like how long it's gonna take kinda thing.
Yeah, because that's a piece too.
Basically, on their, like, main homepage of their website, you scroll down and basically it tells you, like, here are the 10 steps to like from nothing to finish, like
To
how this is done. But basically, this is I mean, the process is like, they're right there with you because like site selection, it was like, hey, talk to a
yeah.
real estate agent to talk
Mm,
about a good site. You go through a consulting session, feasibility of the homes per that location. They even hook you up with
that's the shit.
financing, like you were talking
Yeah.
about, and then you get to the design and permitting, and then I don't see the actual timeline. Okay, here it is. It says soft cost. So
Soft
soft cost
cost.
is like um not the actual cost of the house, but
Yeah.
like the site survey they had to do, the design and the engineering with the
Mm-hmm.
permits, with the it sounds like they hook up the utilities for you, they do the permit for you and everything. That is up starting around $40,000.
Is this for one of the sites we just looked at?
Yeah, this is the method
The Method
homes, the second
Homes?
one, like the
Ooh.
nicer, higher end finishes, prefab homes.
Oh, you might catch me in a Method Home.
Yeah, so you're talking soft cost is this is 40 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing from what I'm reading, my intuition kind of says like maybe it's not 40K, it's maybe like 60 to 70. Let's say 60 just to put a number on it
Yeah.
because it says 40 plus, right? Um, and then the actual home is $300 to $400 per square foot. So I mean, these are
Okay.
like
There,
luxurier looking
yeah,
houses,
yeah.
but I don't think it's gonna be that
It's
big,
still
right?
not that big. Yeah, yeah.
So let's say like 1,200. Would that be like a reasonable guess? Maybe a little bit
Okay.
bigger, 15.
Okay. Oh, I'll say 12. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll say
let's say
12.
12.
Yeah.
So let's do that on the
So
higher end because it says
top.
300 to 400 plus.
Okay.
So we'll do the 400. So that's 480. And then from there, it says there's site costs. That is 70% to 100% of the modular cost of 480 that we talked about. So you pretty much double that.
What?
And then
Dang.
I got a number of a tad bit over a million. So basically for $1 million, you can put in, excluding the land,
Yeah.
you can put a really nice home anywhere you want in the United States.
It's
We'll say
hilarious.
continental United States.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is definitely not feasible to
That-
necessarily solving the
yeah, yeah. Not that.
housing crisis per
Right.
se, but
Right.
it is there.
Oh, dude, I'm glad
So,
we got into those numbers. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
and I saw, um, I didn't spend too much on the numbers for the apartment,
Mm-hmm.
prefab apartments because like I don't know the how much ground up apartments are supposed to
Yeah.
cost or like stuff like
Yeah.
that. But homes are much more easy to comprehend and understand the numbers.
Conceptualize.
But I
Yeah.
think I couldn't find it just now, but when I was looking at it, I saw like a timeline for these homes, and it was pretty much like to plan, you take like 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
and to build, and then to cook up everything is like another 4 months. So like in 8 months, like you're done
Yeah.
with everything. So
Well,
that's
like, don't typical houses take like around 8 months to a year? If you just want to build a normal, I don't know what's normal. I mean, because in some of the videos I was comparing, you know, or are you still talking about the more luxury style, or
yeah, no, I mean, for
because
this
just the
conversation, I mean, I think that wasn't the luxury side, but then we can compare it to building a house, right?
yeah,
Um, I just did a quick Google search. It says the average time to build a home is anywhere from 7 to 14 months.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, eight to a
So I'm
year.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing the more luxury stuff is gonna take longer to make.
Well, I'm just saying,
Um,
like, if you compare like 8 months to a year, but the other casitas we started the pod kind of talking about, like what Boxable kind of focuses in on.
mhm.
Those I don't know about the hookup services and stuff, but just to well, I don't know, build and ship. They were saying like those take I don't know if it included the shipping, but it's like could be like a week or less. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah, I could see
extremely
that.
quick
But
turnaround. So
because these are pre-made, at least for
yeah,
Boxable.
yeah.
Um, And then
Exactly.
I would literally imagine the building of the boxable stuff, and or like it's gonna take maybe a week or two, right? Or not. I mean, you said something like it's gonna take a day to build it, but then like
Yeah.
there's a wait list and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so let's say you end up waiting 2 weeks to actually get your home.
Yeah.
You're the only thing you're taking longer is like the permitting process.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta get the permits,
Mm-hmm.
and then you gotta like hire a GC to go in there and hook up everything. That's taking longer than
That's going to take
actual.
longer than exactly.
Yeah.
And there is some level of customization to these. It's like a pro and a con. It's like they're not all just these I don't know, 300 square foot like boxes. Like apparently some of them you can slightly customize, which,
Mm,
may lengthen the process or whatever, but a con is they aren't as customizable as a normal home or if you did a new build. But again, you're compromising the maximum customizable cust like how much you can customize it for the extremely short building and fabricating time. So I mean, there is a trade off there. And we're talking about like you were talking about like where you can put these or where are we gonna see these expand to across the US, like what areas? I don't know crap about uh zoning and regulations. You having done I know there's some paperwork that has to go into building the casitas. But I'm also curious, like if you do have these in the LA areas or a metropolitan area, like how that affects that. And this is me just asking this could be a rhetorical question, but that's one part of this where we haven't really talked about it all. But I
it
don't
doesn't
know
have to be
if
rhetorical because we can talk about it.
let's
Um,
get into it. But you know
on
what I
the
mean? I was just
website,
kind of like
yeah, this is directly coming from the
from Boxable.
Boxable website, and then it says to put one of these things like like
Mm-hmm.
legally having it is you just have to have residential zoning. So if you
Okay,
buy
that's
a
pretty
plot
easy.
of
Yeah,
land
apply. Yeah,
around a neighborhood,
yeah,
that's gonna most likely have a residential
easy.
zoning,
Yeah,
and then the purpose of it like is to at least how it's marketed is a casita, right?
yeah.
So that's meant to be put in a backyard of an existing home. So it's
Mm,
gonna already have residential zoning.
that's a good
And
point.
then I know California um, came up with this, and in other places are kind of adopting the California model. And the Phoenix is actually followed suit in how California is doing it. But basically, in California, they passed legis- registration
Legislation.
legislation.
Yeah.
God, I don't know English, dude. But they passed a law where, like, as long as you meet some kind of criteria, I forgot what it was,
Hmm.
but it wasn't that strict.
Okay.
Like, anyone can build an ADU in the backyard
Yeah.
because, like, previously you have to have the city say yes, you can build an
Right. That's what
ADU,
I'm saying. Yeah.
which was the very challenging part. And then same like at least in Phoenix too, like if you have a Phoenix zip code, now like you can build an ADU without the Arizona state is saying, hey, like or sorry, I don't know about the Arizona state for Arizona, but at least like Phoenix is saying, hey, you can build an ADU. We're gonna auto approve your ADU request as long as
Mm,
it meets the criterias.
okay.
And you still like you still have to have the regular inspections and like, it has to be up to code. But yeah, like I think that's a great way for government to play their part in
Yeah.
fixing this
Yeah.
like a housing issue
Yeah.
because like let's be real, like I don't think they're going to fix the housing issue at the government level. Like what are they going to do? Like all they can do is like let people do their thing or like relax the taxing for, certain homes to be
Sure.
built
Yeah.
cuz I mean, you know this, um a lot of the homes getting built right now are luxury homes because that's where the money is at.
Hmm.
No one is building a 800 square foot 2 bedroom 1 bath starter home, right? Or if they
Uh,
do, but they're not building it in masses.
definitely not. Yeah. I was gonna say yes.
Yeah, so that's
Good way to
why
put
it's
it.
so hard for, everyday like first time home buyers to break into buying real estate.
Yeah. And this is in more ways than one. We kind of addressed them at the beginning. This can be a kind of springboard to get people either into buying something smaller or spending less to rent to get into that market. Didn't you say Boxable got, or is it like subsidized, or it got like government funding?
Yeah, they got a
Did you say?
government
Yeah,
contract to
okay.
build
They
it
gotta go.
for
Yeah,
military
yeah,
bases.
yeah. Oh, okay, from military bases. Yeah, yeah. That's a huge start. Yeah.
Yeah, but at least like I'm just spitballing, right? I put no thought into what I'm about to say, but like imagine, there's like there's government subsidized like rent like Section 8
Mm-hmm.
plans, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's not to say that, government owns some land, or like at least
Yep.
the
Municipality.
municipality.
Yeah. Dang, bro,
God.
using all the hard words
Yeah.
today.
What's not to say that they can buy up some land, they get a contract with Boxable, and they put,
Oh, for sure.
I don't know, they put like a 30 unit
Mm-hmm.
complex with these
Mm-hmm.
Boxable homes with sufficient parking, and it's already hooked up, and
Mm-hmm.
they rent it out at like little bit at a profit type of stuff. So like government, like that, county isn't losing out on money like crazy.
Yeah.
Then they actually get to help out the community.
Yeah. That would be, I could see something like that for sure. Um, I don't know. And then well, how nice you make the inside or whatever, because I know like Section 8 housing is notoriously known to like not be nice. It's literally a livable space just so you can have somewhere. But this could be a way to make it actually a little bit nicer. But I just think the government, or whoever's supplying this housing, wouldn't care to make it nice, just because again,
Yeah.
it's Section 8 is notoriously known for getting destroyed, and the quality of tenants, or etc. Yeah. But nonetheless, that's a viable concept, I think.
And I think it
Yeah.
is it's a good movement in the right direction, I think.
Hmm.
Is
Hmm.
because I mean, look at Trump and Harris's like campaign. One of the big issues during the campaign was housing. And regardless of what Harris says, regardless of what Trump says, like I don't think they're gonna solve the housing crisis. It's
Mm,
gonna be through technology. I truly believe these major problems are gonna get fixed through advancement of technology, and this is part of it. Like
that's it.
like for Boxable to stay in business, they need to keep selling these homes, which sounds like they're doing a good job.
Yeah, sound
They
there's a
need to
wait. Yeah,
expand these
Right. They need to scale. Yeah,
facilities to make these things, so they
facts.
can mass produce it and keep make it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yes.
And then you don't have to freaking pay. Like I'm paying over $3,000 in Phoenix for a 2 bedroom,
Mm,
800 square foot apartment. That's crazy to me.
yeah, that
It's in a nice part
is.
of town. It's safe, but like I just
That-
never imagined I would be paying over 3,000
that's
a month for
crazy
a
compared.
800 square foot place.
Yeah, right.
So
Oh man. Yeah, that's wild. That's cool. I think we got to kind of talk around a pretty, I don't, a topic I definitely never hear about, um which is prefabricated homes. So I think this was kind of a cool little mix up, fun topic to do, to just introduce something on a in a yeah, like not a new space, the housing market, but a newer concept, I guess.
mm,
And it's just funny, dude. Imagine, I don't think like you have your traditional trailer homes, which are like literally hitched on wheels, like, a mobile home which you can hitch up to a truck and pull, or even drive. But this is like, Boxable is a foldable home. Is this made to be like you can put it somewhere, live in it, fold it up, and like take it somewhere else? Is that part of how it's marketed? That, because that's also insane to me that
I
it's,
don't think it's marketed like that, but
yeah.
what's to say that you can't do that?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to
You just
like
have to pay
disconnect
someone
everything
again to
right.
unhook the services.
Yeah,
But like there's companies
theoretically,
that
you can.
move homes.
Right. So yeah, I think that's fascinating in itself. But yeah, dude, I think this is.
Would
I,
you
I, I definitely think we're gonna see more of this as time
would you
progresses.
like know like okay, not that you live in one, but like
Hmm.
would you buy one?
yeah, just before you change the question, I was gonna be like, just where I am in life and trying to start and hopefully start and grow a family, and where I would not buy to live in or rent out a prefab home.
Mhm.
I could definitely see myself trying to like expand my real estate portfolio and maybe
Mhm.
get a prefab home. Yes.
But, like, at least from, like, a investor standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we talked about, to benefit the renters, it has to benefit the real estate investor too.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's not like they're not gonna buy it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. One
So,
hundred percent.
but um, at least from this, like, let's say you have enough money saved to, buy this after you bought your, nicer primary home.
Mm-hmm.
You plop this in the back, you set it up. I mean, I'm just thinking from like Phoenix, like you can buy a house in the Scottsdale area, and that's going to be much more expensive. So your mortgage is going to be like 4,000, 5,000 a month type of stuff. And but you put this in the back of your
I can also, yeah.
backyard, you can easily rent this for easily for 1,000. I'm thinking like you can
Mm,
probably rent this out for like 1,300 to 1,500
okay.
type of stuff in Scottsdale, right?
Yeah.
Um, but to think about it, like you're probably covering the utilities because it's going to be hooked up to the main lines of your house.
Right.
So let's say we rent it out for 15 and you take out the utilities, you
Mm-hmm.
take out the some reserves, and you're gonna probably pocket like $1,000. And that's gonna
Which is
offset
still, yeah.
a big portion of your
That's
mortgage. Is like at
huge.
some, it it makes the numbers make sense more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you can rent out a space for cheaper than otherwise, other options available in the
Right.
market.
100%. Yeah. And this is coming from someone that's, truly like dabbling in that space. So I think that's cool. Dude, that's good. Bro, I'm still tripping over these houses on Amazon. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I just had the screen pulled up. That's
Imagine like literally in like 1,000
wild.
years, like, all right, I'm ready to buy a home, and then you just go on Amazon Prime, and it's like, oh, which house am I looking at today?
Dude.
Like, what's not to say?
You
What's
probably
not to say?
put on the Oculus, walk into a field, and just draw lines in the air and like create it, and then click something, and in a week it just, yeah, it's probably gonna be some insane process. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is cool. Um, yeah, shout out to Boxable, like leading this space, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Like you said, I genuinely think this could be something that helps the state of our current housing market. We've talked about some
Mhm.
other, I don't know, concept ideas that have been floated around in other areas, whether it be like universal basic income offsetting welfare, or what did we just talk about the other day, or one of our recent episodes? It was
We did
another,
debt,
no, it was like a theoretical, um
Universe 25.
no, it was something else, but I don't know. It's always fun to either play with these theoretical concepts or this, which is actually a thing, and it's just an expanding market. Uh,
Modern monetary theory.
yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, MMT, the thing that I can't properly say. Um, I think it's important to like have these conversations and just see, kind of predicting and talking through where the future of whatever space or whatever topic we're on are headed. So I think it's incredible. You got any closing thoughts? Dope. All right, man. You might catch me in a couple years. Got that prefab. Might have some in the outskirts of Chicago. I don't know. Check me out. We'll see where I'm at. Definitely exciting stuff. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch us next week with a new topic.